The Triple Swirl Trout Powerbaits from Berkley, the latest trout powerbait colors to hit the market. And today, I'm going to review each of the 4 colors, talk about how to fish each, the right conditions to help you catch more trout. What is up, Outdoor Mavericks? Welcome back to the channel and the latest trout fishing tips video, where today we're diving right back into trout powerbait, and specifically we're going to talk about not the single, not the double, but the triple swirl powerbait colors that came out in the last year from Berkley. Now these triple swirl powerbait colors are the newest thing to hit the market, because what's better than 2 colors in a powerbait? Well, that is 3, because it's an easier way to get the trout's attention and get some really big bites. Now when it comes to trout powerbait, how are the best ways to fish these to catch stock trout or trout in general? Well, now the first way to catch trout with powerbait is the plunking setup with the Carolina rig and the sliding weight. Now traditionally, I like a 7'6" rod in about a 2 to 6 pound. You got a nice 1,000 to 2,000 reel, 10-pound braid line, because you can cast that a mile long and get a little bit longer cast. And then down to your sliding weight, a bead, down to your swivel, and then your leader down to a size 12 bait holder hook from Gamakatsu. And then the other way to fish trout powerbait is underneath the bobber, and sometimes with a little split shot about 12 inches above that hook. A different way to get that powerbait in a different level and column in the water when you're still fishing that really good and really effective trout powerbait to get a bite. So the 4 colors of triple swirl are Crazy Carnival, Royal Rave, Showtime Shine, and Hippie Hypnotized. And first off, let's talk about Crazy Carnival. Now Crazy Carnival is this orange green with a slight amount of yellow, and this is going to be one of those super bright triple swirl colorways. Now this orange is not a super bright orange, but it's not a dulled down peach orange. It's kind of in the middle with a more traditional, what you would say like a pine greeny color and a slight tint of yellow. Out of the bunch, this is the brightest triple swirl color, which means it is perfect for off-water dirty conditions and low light conditions. And this is best fished in the early morning and late in the evening on darker days, especially on cloudier days when the fish have a little bit harder time and the sunlight and the sunshine isn't out. And for me, when I fish Crazy Carnival, this is one of the best colors to fish against grassy and structured areas. Firstly, because that orange has a nice pop and it's easy for the trout to see it. And then secondly, this orange color in this Crazy Carnival, again, it's a little bit in between the salmon peach egg color and that super bright orange. It's kind of a dulled down. It looks a little bit more natural, and we're talking about different baits that the trout might go after. This Crazy Carnival is really good, and when the fish turn and they're going to see this bait, especially against structure, that orange is going to pop and they're going to see that slight tint of green that's shimmering through the water, and they're going to go attack it. Now next up is Royal Rave, and this is a very blue with a shade of red and a small tint of white. Now this colorway is very different from the USA or the Captain America powerbait colors that Berkley has out there that are a little more even with their swirls. You got lots of white and a lot more red, and the blues in those are a little bit more navy and they're a little bit more different colors of blue. But this blue is more of a royal. It's toned down. It does have some brightness, but with the red in this swirl, that red adds that pop on that blue color. Now the funny thing about fishing with this Royal Rave is it actually did best on the days when it was like cloudy and sunny, kind of going back and forth where the weather was trying to decide whether it wanted to be super sunny or super cloudy. But when it was flipping back and forth, because of the color of this Royal Rave, the fish were able to spot it very easily in cloudy conditions. And then when the brightness came, you get a little pop of that red and that slightness of white, and the fish would go attack this bait in all kinds of different bodies of water that I would fish this in. But of course, on super bright days, this bait can still catch some trout, and on low clear days and cloudy days, this bait will also catch them as well. But out of all the triple swirl colorways, when you have those kind of mid-water conditions, so say it's not super clear, but it's not super dark or off-colored, this Royal Rave did absolutely the best. So it's kind of what I'll call that tweener conditions, where it's maybe not sunny, but it's not cloudy, and the water's maybe not super clear, but it's not super chocolate milky. This is the colorway that you want to use. Now next up in the set is Showtime Shine, and it was one of my favorites to fish because it was a very hazy purple with black color swirl through it and a very light amount of a light peach. So it was like perfect for some weird conditions, but also looks pretty natural from a bait perspective. Because you have this hazy purple with that black, this color imitates a lot of different baits and a lot of different grubs that the trout are gonna see. And the hazy purple with a little bit of that peach can give a little bit of what I'll call that crawfish or crayfish kind of off color sort of style, especially like with the black here as well. You got a lot of bugs and grubs that have more of those darker profiles, and this bait exemplifies and is a perfect complement when you aren't fishing, say, for flies, but you want to fish with bait. This is the perfect natural color to imitate those grubs and bugs that the trout like. Now, Showtime Shine was great when I fished it in sunny and super clear watery days, but on overcast conditions, the more brighter swirl colors did a little bit better than this one. This still caught fish, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't as effective because it's very toned down and it's very mellow when you look at it in the water. Again, a very natural presentation, so clear water conditions, maybe less grassy lakes or little ponds that you might fish this with, and then on super sunny days, this is absolutely a game changer and the perfect bait to be using. And then last but not least is the fourth colorway, and Hippie Hypnotized probably is one of my favorite nicknames of any of the power baits out there, and this bait was probably my favorite to fish. It also caught me the most trout. Now, when I first looked at this colorway, it reminded me a lot of the Riddler from Batman because you kind of have that green pumpkin green, you have that swirl of purple and just a hint of black. And yeah, it just gives you that hippie hypnotized sort of vibes, but with the green and the purple and the black, again, a very natural color and in the water, perfect for sunny days and clear water conditions, whether they're low or you have really high water conditions and the water is clearing up. This power bait absolutely crushed it. And when the trout are looking for more natural baits or the stock trout are looking for something a little bit different, this Hippie Hypnotized was the #1 color. Again, I got the most bites and the most trout with this colorway. In fact, out of all the trout that I caught with the triple swirl colors, the Hippie Hypnotized kept getting the bigger fish, the most fish, and the quickest strikes the second I got the bait in the water. And the one thing I love about the Hippie Hypnotized is from sunrise to sunset, this colorway fished really well throughout all times of the day, especially in that mid-port of the day when the water's really warming up and sometimes the fish bite kind of slows down. The Hippie Hypnotized actually helped me get a lot more bites in that midday time frame when the fish are maybe a little more finicky when it comes to chasing bait and going after smelly, scenty power bait or other bugs and grubs that they want to feed on. And again, with so many bright baits out there on the market, this dulled down Hippie Hypnotized could be a great bait on those slower days and those days where the trout are looking for a lot more natural colored baits. This is going to be perfect. Now, these are only 4 colorways of the triple swirl, and I would say I really hope that Berkley comes out with more of these triple swirl color combinations because firstly, they absolutely crushed it when I used them. Now, it could be the conditions, it could be the right time. Sometimes I got onto the stock pond and it was just a good bite, but on days, weeks after places have been stocked, these baits still did well. And so I hope that Berkley comes out with more of these triple swirl color combinations. And for me, if I had to pick and customize a triple swirl combination for myself, I would say something in a darker brown with a swirl of red and a small hint of white, something that's very natural. You have that red that could imitate a lot of different bugs and some crayfish, and then a little tint of white. So if it's in the grass or in some darker areas, that white's gonna pop and the trout is gonna find the bait and go after it really aggressively. So if you're a power bait fan, let me know in the comments below on the video if you had to come up with a triple swirl power bait combination. Let me know what that would be and why you would come up with those 3 colors for your custom bait. And there you guys have it, a review and tips on how to fish the new triple swirl trout power baits from Berkley. I hope you guys can get your hands on this new power bait, get out to the water and catch a ton of trout. So thank you guys for watching today's episode. Hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below if you're new to the channel, and as always, you guys, the outdoors is a gift, share it with others.